Is Cam Newton back to MVP form? What's going on, Panther Nation? It's your boy LCameraTV here, man. And I've been working on something for a little while now, but I finally got it in place. I got my affiliate link for NFL shops, so you can cop all your NFL gear on my page. The link is in the description below, man. I know y'all want your Carolina Panther jerseys, hats, mugs, all types of cool stuff. You know, I got a Cam Newton jersey. I'm trying to get a Christian McCaffrey and a Luke Kuechly, you know what I'm saying? I got offense. I definitely need defense, man. So any NFL fan or Panther fan that wants some NFL gear, come to my affiliate link, cop some jerseys, cop some mugs, cop some stuff, man. Make sure you represent the Carolina Panthers when they're in London and wherever else, man. And thank y'all for showing love and tuning in. Definitely cop some gear. If y'all don't want the L camera, you might as well get the Carolina.
Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any video from my channel.
Yo! Welcome to LCameraTV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roman.com and wherever else. And guys, we have a lot of good news going on in our first practice. The rookies are not getting thrown headfirst into the fire. We got to talk about that. My man Shaq Thompson is making big things happen in practice because he's in a contract year. And my main man, number one, is making big things happen in practice. So we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is the rookies not getting thrown headfirst into the fire. Now, the rookies, Brian Burns and Greg Little, are not getting first team reps, you know what I'm saying, starting team reps. And that's just the Carolina Panthers way. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. Every time the Carolina Panthers draft somebody, they kind of bring them along slowly. We've seen that with DJ Moore. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he had to kind of like fight for minutes in the beginning until they see how dominant he could be. Then he became the second receiver, and he was still behind Devin Funchess. You know, we've seen that with Vernon Butler. You know what I'm saying? He was behind KK Short. We've seen that with Christian McCaffrey. Even Christian McCaffrey, who's a baller and was a high pick, he was behind Jonathan Stewart for most of the first season. Then he kind of took over. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been, and obviously Shaq Thompson was in the reserve role too when he got drafted. The only people really who weren't in the reserve role was Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly. And to be honest with you, Luke Kuechly was kind of in the reserve role too because John Beeson was there first, and Luke Kuechly was on the outside linebacker. And because they see how dominant he was, they moved him to inside and they moved John Beeson outside. So that's just the Panthers' way. They kind of bring along their players slowly. You know what I'm saying? So Greg Little was protecting Will Greer instead of Cam Newton, and Brian Burns was rushing the second team offensive line instead of the first team offensive line. So it's, you know, not surprising to me, but I did think, you know, Greg Little was going to start from the beginning because we need a left tackle. But what I see them doing is they're trying out Darrell Williams at left tackle and, you know, left guard to see how that works. And they're seeing how Greg Little works on the second team. And if he's that dominant, they'll move him to the first team. So I ain't mad at that, but I didn't expect that to happen. I expected Greg Little to start. I expected Brian Burns to start. Now, mind you, Brian Burns, I kind of understand more because you got Mario Addison, because you got Bruce Irvin. You don't really, you know, put the veterans as backups. I mean, maybe Bruce Irvin, you could have probably did that. But again, you know, he's been dominant before. You don't really want him to, you know, lose confidence or anything like that. Like, he's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Brian Burns was the #1 pick. You know, our first round pick. But yeah, he's still a rookie. You know what I'm saying? And then from what I'm hearing is that, you know, he does utilize athleticism to kind of get by people, and they want him to work more on his technique, just like Greg Little. So when you get super athletic people like Greg Little and Brian Burns, you kind of want them to work on their technique more because their speed and their strength was getting them, you know, where they need to go for most of their career. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. You know, so I'm perfectly fine with that, whatever, man. But I still think both of them will be impact players. You know what I'm saying? I think both of them will, you know, dominate when they need to dominate, especially Brian Burns. Like, I think he's going to be fresh legs. And if that O-line is getting pounded on by Gerald McCoy, K'Wan Short, you know, Dontari Poe, Mario Addison, and Bruce Irvin consistently, when he gets in the reserve role he's in, he can make big impact and big plays. So I'm not mad at that for Brian Burns. Whereas Greg Little, I'm kind of concerned about because, you know, I don't really see him getting in that often. You know what I'm saying? Because if Darrell Williams plays really well at left tackle, then you don't want to switch out a good left tackle and put in a left tackle that, you know, might be good. And if he is bad, then that, you know what I'm saying, that just cuts more and more his time. So I would kind of hope Greg Little wins position in training camp and they see how good he is, you know, over time, and he comes in from training camp or first game of the season. Then Darrell Williams starting, because then I don't really see Greg Little getting any reps, to be honest with you personally. But either way, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, obviously they're going to put out the best O-line and D-line that they can. So if these guys don't start from the beginning or start in the middle of the season or don't start for the whole first year, I think that's going to probably be the best decision for the team, and they're just doing what's right for Cam and the team overall. And the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is my man Shaq Thompson. Now, mind you, Shaq Thompson is a contract year, and I'm really happy he didn't hold out or do anything else, because we see everywhere else around the league, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, all these guys are holding out for new contracts, and Shaq Thompson is in the last year of his contract, so he could have decided to hold out, but he's not. Obviously, I think he personally knows that he didn't really live up to the contract that he's expecting, so he really wants to prove that he's a dominant player, and he's already showing that in practice, man. On the first practice of the season, he got a pick to the house. Now, mind you, he was aided by Mario Addison that took the ball up, but he still made the interception. You know what I'm saying? He still took the ball to the end zone, even though it wasn't a far run. And I think, you know, he's going to be a pretty big contributor for us this year. Mind you, Luke Kuechly thinks the same thing, and you got to trust Luke. So I definitely think Shaq will be, you know, dominant this year. I think he's going to prove that, you know, he's a pretty good player for us. And, you know, he has to play hard, man, because like I said, I think he'll get a lot more opportunities. I think he is a good player. I was pretty high on him when he came out in the draft. But with Thomas Davis there, he didn't get a lot of reps. Especially, the only time he really got a good amount of reps was when Thomas Davis was suspended for like 4 games. But for the most part, he didn't really get a lot of reps. He was like, you know, obviously, when we went to 2 linebacker sets, he would be out there. It'll be Luke and Thomas. So we'll see how Shaq Thompson, you know, performs this year. I think he'll perform well. I think he has to perform well, because he knows if he doesn't live up to the billing. A lot of teams say he was a tweener when he was coming out. They say he was a small guy. He can play linebacker, all this stuff. So I think he knows that, okay, you know, this team believed in me. This team took a chance on me when everybody thought I was a, you know, a second or third round player. They took him in the first round. So I think he'll perform well. I think he'll do his best, you know what I'm saying? And I think he has a lot to prove. And I think he will, you know, prove us right, you know what I'm saying, instead of proving us wrong, you know what I'm saying, and get that contract. Hopefully he doesn't break the bank, but I think he'll get his contract at the end, because like I said, I think he's a very good player, and I think he's going to show that to full effect this year, because he's not in a reserve role behind Thomas Davis. And finally, the question we've all been waiting for. Is Cam Newton back to MVP form? Now, I wouldn't say all that, but it looks like he's going to have a great year. The first practice of the season, or training camp for us, and Cam Newton threw 2 40-yard bombs. One for a touchdown to Curtis Samuel, and another one for a 45-yard gain by Chris Manhurst between 2 defenders. That's the Cam Newton I want to see. I seen the you know, the deep pass, which I was looking for, because obviously, you know, last year he couldn't throw the ball, you know, deep downfield, and that was one of our biggest hindrance. But also, he hit these guys on the money. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty good passes on both plays. And I think that's because he kept his mechanics right. I think he set his feet right. And it shows that he can, you know, his arm is... Now, mind you, his arm looks a lot better. But like Ron Rivera says, it's all about the next day. You know what I'm saying? The soreness and seeing how it feels the next day. But he looked really good last night. He looked really good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had that mental lapse with the ball got tipped up, but you can't really control that. I mean, you kind of like pump fake the defender maybe, but you know what I'm saying? For the most part, if a ball gets tipped and it gets intercepted, that just happens. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like he had that many mental lapses. He was supposed to be on the pitch count, but he had, from what I'm hearing, he was in there for a little while. It wasn't like he was like, you know, 3 or 4 plays and they pulled him out. He was there for a good amount of time. And, you know what I'm saying, he looks like he can throw the ball deep downfield. And like I said, it's looking pretty accurate, man. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we see maybe a 50 or 60-yarder. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you don't do those much in the league, but, you know what I'm saying, you want to know if he still had that arm strength to get it down there, because I remember Cam used to be able to throw straight bombs downfield. So I wouldn't say he's back to MVP form, but it does seem like his surgery and everything is healing well. Like I said, he wasn't doing that last year in training camp. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing passes, but he wasn't throwing deep passes. So, to me, I think this could be a breakout year for us, especially because if you look at the roster that we have, the O-line seems like it's going to be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Christian McCaffrey is a dominant running back. And when we went to the Super Bowl, we had Ted Ginn and Philly Brown. Ted Ginn was the speedster, which I think Curtis Samuel could be, because Curtis Samuel knows how to get behind the defender, and he ran a 4.3 if anybody forgot. And he said he was trying to get faster this offseason. So I definitely think he's going to be a speedster for us. And DJ Moore, I think he's going to be the more route runner, more precise guy. And he has pretty good hands too, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I still remember the catch where he mauled Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints in the corner. And you know what I'm saying, was talking junk. So definitely DJ Moore is going to be a great player. Curtis Samuel looks like he's going to be our vertical threat, you know what I'm saying, to keep the defenses honest. And I think he'll get behind a lot of people, man. So I think Cam Newton, with these targets, obviously you got the Chris Hogan, you got the Jarris Wrights, you know what I'm saying? And when Torrey Smith, gets back healthy, whatever, we'll see how that whole situation is. I still would like another receiver, but I think our team is pretty dominant. Elijah Holyfield dropped the pass, you know what I'm saying, in the game, in the practice, and he was one of the last people there, you know what I'm saying, still catching passes and stuff like that. Rashawn Golden, you know what I'm saying, was there 20 minutes after the practice was over, working on routes, working on, with his secondary coach, and it just goes to show you that these guys are serious, man. I'm thinking Rashawn Golden is going to be a pretty good safety, and I'm thinking Elijah Holyfield. I remember I said Jordan Scott might be the second dude. Elijah Holyfield, like, he ain't playing, man. I'm sorry. He look like, bro, he wants to make the team. He wants to be, you know what I'm saying, on the team. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, they already cut Elijah Hood. So I think this year we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. I think everybody's going to start respecting Cam Newton as one of the best players in the league again. And I think we can be a serious contender this year. Well, that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roman.com and wherever else. And guys, get in the comment section, do you think Shaq Thompson will get another contract, this year? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like or dislike Brian Burns and Greg Little being brought along slowly? Or do you think it should be on the first team, getting first team reps already? Put that in the comment section below. And do you think Cam Newton will get back to his MVP form? Definitely put that in the comment section, man. Check out my Spreadshirt account, my Patreon page. Those links are both in the description below. I also have an affiliate link with NFLshops.com. You get your Panther gear and you also get your NFL gear. That link is also in the description, man. If you don't cop some LCamera gear, definitely get your Carolina Panthers gear before the season starts. You can get that here at LCameraTV. Check out my dog Renan Steen's page. His video's going to be at the very end of mine in the end screen. Very funny dude, very talented. We also have a podcast. Definitely check that out, man. We talk about some real topics, man. I think you guys will really be interested, man. So definitely check that out. Shares for all Panther family, friends, you might Panther related, you might football related. Y'all already know what it is, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for stay showing love to LCameraTV. And the season right around the corner, guys. So get ready. Get your Panther gear here, and see y'all next time. Peace.